This is the CMF Watch Pro 2. Now CMF is a smaller company that's also under the Nothing brand. They wanted to sell more budget, lower tier products, but they didn't want to use the Nothing name for it because they're trying to make Nothing like a top tier high-end brand. So they started CMF as well to sell their lower products, their lower tier stuff. But I gotta tell you, this is a really good product. You will see some differences on why it is lower tier, especially the price and stuff. But it's a very good product for what it is, and it fits a lot of the needs of just people who want notifications and very basic software applications. But we'll go ahead and talk about some of the things that are really cool about this watch, and then you can decide whether that's something you want to spend your money on. So let's talk about the design a little bit. It's pretty cool because there's an interchangeable bezel design, right? There's two types of bezels that you can buy that Nothing or CMF sells, and this is one of them. This is like the thick bezel-y. I actually like this one better, but there's one that looks thinner. So if you're not into this really thick bezel look, there is another bezel that you can buy and swap with this one. So all you do is kind of turn it, and then you can, like, that's it. This is it. It's hollow, so there's no. It would be cool if this had glass too, because then it would be like sort of a glass screen protector, but nope, the screen is still there, and you can still see the grooves on the side, so you can switch them out. But yeah, I gotta check if you can buy them separately. I would hate for you to have to buy another watch just to get other ones. But yeah, it just snaps on. You just put it on and you just twist it, and it locks in. We do have a crown here, and it's kind of plasticky feeling, but it does turn. And you can press it to go back, and you can also turn it to scroll through the menus. These straps are pretty cool. I gotta say, I own a few watches. I have this watch. I have a Huawei Fit 3. My main watch is a Galaxy Watch 7. And then I did have the Pixel Watch 3. Out of all those watches, even the Pixel one, I gotta say, this is the nicest band out of all of them. This is really soft. Silicone, it's really soft. Like, I can't even emphasize how soft this thing is. It's really nice on the skin. This one beats the Samsung Watch one. I don't like the Samsung Watch one on the 7 because it's kind of, it's ribbed a little. No, ribbed is the word. It's ribbed. So it's not as, it's a little bumpy, and it's firmer, and the material is harder. So it's probably more, it's probably stronger than this one. Because this one, you could probably just tear through this if you really wanted to. You could probably rip right through this thing. So the good thing about these straps is they just use regular lugs right here. You can just squeeze this and pull it off. It uses any 22mm straps. So just, you know, if you got any laying around, just you can go ahead and use it. And this is the black color or the gray one. It comes in orange, dark gray, which is this one, ash gray, and blue. But this is the one I went with. This is the display here. It's a 1.32-inch AMOLED display with auto brightness. There are some brightness settings that you can change in settings. There's 5 settings besides auto, so if you don't like auto, there's that. This watch doesn't run Wear OS. It runs Nothing's own proprietary OS, and it's pretty light. This watch is compatible with Android devices, I believe Android 8, and iOS devices. You can use both OSs on this watch, so that's cool. Now, one of the reasons why it's kind of cheap, and I haven't even mentioned the price yet, but it's kind of cheap because it doesn't really have its own apps, this watch. There's some built-in already, some basic ones built in, like this camera remote. That's pretty cool. It actually does work. I'm surprised. I thought it wasn't going to work. But beyond that, you can't really put any other apps on here. Like, even if I use Google Maps on my phone, it doesn't really, the directions don't show up on the watch as notifications. So that's a little bummer, but I actually don't look at my hand when I'm driving. I have my phone out, so I just look at my phone's maps. But, you know, that's something to think about if you wanted to, if you were thinking apps would be compatible, you know. I found this software to be surprisingly snappy, but I guess it's because it's really light that it should be snappy, and it's nice. And I like the theming around this OS. It's not just like a really simple looking one. It matches with the other Nothing products, like the Nothing phone too. And I used to use that. The OS here it reminds me of that too. So there's other things like Bluetooth calls with AI noise reduction. I don't use calls on this thing. Health features, there's heart rate, there's steps, tracking, sleep, all that stuff. I don't actually wear this when I'm sleeping, but this is comfortable and I could wear it when I'm sleeping. I did use the walk function, and this I did the steps counter the other day. I was counting my steps when I was walking my dog, and the numbers were actually pretty close. So I got 700 steps on my walk, and then when I went inside the house and checked it later, I got like 1,300. So I don't even know how that huge amount of steps, where they came from, because I wasn't walking at that point. So I don't know where that came from, but yeah. So the watch, you can install third-party watch faces, but there's about like 100 plus included in here. They're kind of cool. You can customize them to a little bit. There was one that I liked, but I wanted the step counter on it, so I put the step counter on the front. So you can change the widgets on some of these watch faces, which is pretty cool. I'm using this watch with the Galaxy S24 Plus, which is my main phone, and I actually don't have any issues having to reconnect. I've read that a lot of people, they lose a connection to their watch. I haven't had that issue, and there must have been updates that fix that if there was a problem, but I don't have that issue at all, so I'm not gonna say I did, but that's what I hear. So battery life, this watch is quoted for about 11 days of battery life. I gotta say that's pretty close. I usually get about maybe 9 to 10 days. 9 to 10 days is pretty good for a watch. I don't use always on display, so that might make a big difference. If you use always on display, you're gonna have less battery, of course. But yeah, I don't use always on display. I raise my wrist to wake it up. For notifications, the vibration is pretty good on this. There are about 3 options. There's a standard, and I can't remember the high. There's a high one, and there's like an off, and it's pretty good. I use standard because I like it light. I don't want it to interrupt me, but I do want to know if something's happening. But you know, if you put your phone on the table and it like buzz, it gets kind of annoying. So it's like that. Like I don't want to hear it, but I want to know if it's happening. So I have it on standard, and standard is pretty good, but you might miss some notifications, so you might want to put it on the higher mode. And then the best part of this is it's only $69 USD new. So that, you know, like you could pretty much just buy it and give it a try, and if you don't like it, just resell it, and you'll take a small loss, but I mean, it's not one of those things where you buy a $300 watch and you just hate it. Now notifications, if you look at your notifications, this is also something, you can't really do much with it. You can click it and you can dismiss it, but yeah, there's nothing else. You can't open it. It won't open on your phone when you click it. You gotta like grab your phone and open it. No, it's up to you whether it's fine. I'm just saying it's fine. But yeah, also the notification system here on the watch, it doesn't show emojis. So if you have someone sending you a bunch of emojis, you're gonna get these little blank squares. Probably not a deal breaker, but just gonna mention that too. Also, sometimes my lift to wake doesn't work too well, but as I'm filming right now, it's actually working really well, because it's working really well outside. But last night it was kind of like missing sometimes. Oh, so I completely forgot to mention, but it uses USB-A, so that's a little outdated. And these regular Pogo pins for charging. So I wish it came with C. I don't know, not the worst thing in the world. So do I recommend this watch, and to who? If you just need the basics and good battery life, this is a go. Give this a go. But if you need more, if you're expecting a lot from this watch, you might want to skip it. This is not the most technical watch ever, but it's a very simple, basic smartwatch, and it does its job. And it looks nice and it feels nice. All right.